isn't just about the nature of the crimes. It's about the scale, the scope, and the way these men use their power to exploit those around them for their own gain. The narrative that has unfolded around Diddy's alleged involvement in these crimes is not just about justice for the victims. It's about holding powerful men accountable for their actions. The public is tired of seeing celebrities use their status as a shield against consequences. The Me Too movement has shown us that no one, not even the most untouchable of stars, is above the law. Diddy, despite his wealth and influence, is no exception.
That's not the issue. The issue is it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
It's just crazy. Just read.
Yet, the intrigue doesn't end there. Consider the possibility of Diddy's arrest, a moment that would undoubtedly send shockwaves through the industry and beyond. It would be the culmination of years of speculation and suspicion finally bring closure to one of hip-hop's darkest chapters. Diddy's entire career could come crashing down overnight, not just from a legal standpoint, but from a cultural one as well. His legacy, meticulously built over decades, could unravel in an instant. And what about the wider implications for the music industry? Diddy's downfall would raise serious questions about the industry's complicity in his alleged crimes. How many people knew about these accusations and chose to stay silent? How many turned a blind eye to his actions because of his status and the money he brought in? The repercussions could be far-reaching, sparking a reckoning that goes beyond just one man. It could lead to a broader examination of how the music industry protects its own, often at the expense of justice and truth. Moving back to Keefe D, his role in this drama is critical. If he decides to flip and testify against Diddy, it could set a precedent for others who may have been silenced by fear or money. Keefe D has already proven he's willing to talk. He's done it before, and he might do it again.
So I think now might be the time, especially with Mr. Davis facing life in prison, that maybe he's going to be a little more...
His own words have placed him at the scene of Shakur's assassination, and his allegations against Diddy are damning. But what motivates him now? Is it revenge, a desire for redemption, or simply a move to protect himself from a harsher sentence? Whatever the reason, his next move could seal Diddy's fate.
Diddy has consistently denied any involvement in Tupac's. He stated multiple times that he had no connection to the event. And in an interview with Vanity Fair in 2017, he said, "I never had anything to do with any of the violence that was going on during that time."
Let's not overlook Diddy's history of controversies, which adds more weight to the current allegations. From his tumultuous relationship with Cassie Ventura, who accused him of abuse, to various other incidents involving violent altercations, Diddy has never been a stranger to scandal. These patterns of behavior, repeated, documented, and reported over the years, suggest a man accustomed to using his power to get what he wants, often at a grave cost to others.
That this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
And now, in light of the reopened Shakur case, these past actions seem to paint a clearer picture of a man who has long been at the center of a storm of controversy and crime. The narrative isn't just about one case or one victim. It's about a lifetime of dodging bullets, both literally and figuratively. With the allegations of human trafficking, violent assaults, and now his potential connection to an assassination, Diddy's public image is transforming from that of a savvy business mogul to a potential predator who thrived in a lawless era of the music industry. Yet, Diddy still has his defenders. His legal team has dismissed all allegations as baseless, describing the recent raids and the subsequent media coverage as overblown and sensationalized. They argue that Diddy is being targeted because of his fame and success, and that he will fight to clear his name. They may be preparing for a long, drawn-out legal battle, one that will pit Diddy's considerable resources against the full might of the federal government.
I'm gonna fight for my reputation. I'm gonna fight for the honorable man I am, the righteous king that I am. I'm not perfect.
But will Diddy's wealth? There are also 7 lawsuits currently pending against Diddy, all accusing him of heinous crimes.
There may be some truth to it. But this dude is raping grown men. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we can laugh at it, but, you know, it sounds like it's true. I'm looking at it right now, and Diddy, he did go to prison, and he offered the inmate $2.3 million to settle the case, so.
As the legal battles mount, Diddy's empire is crumbling. The man who once seemed untouchable is now facing the very real possibility of spending the rest of his life behind bars. And while Diddy may still be free for now, the pressure is building, and the walls are closing in. The question isn't if Diddy will be taken down. It's when. And what about Keefe D, the man who holds the key to Diddy's fate? If Keefe D decides to talk, If he decides to flip on Diddy and provide the feds with the information they need, it could be game over for the music mogul. Keefe D has already admitted to his involvement in the events leading up to Shakur's assassination, and his testimony could be the nail in the coffin for Diddy.
Now for what's trending in true crime, nearly 30 years after the legendary rapper Tupac Shakur, the man accused of his murder, is now claiming that Sean Diddy Combs once ordered a hit on the rap icon. In a recent court filing, a 2009 interview between police and Dwayne Keefe D. Davis is making headlines yet again.
But will Keefe D choose to talk, or will he take Diddy's money and keep quiet? That's the million-dollar question, literally.
Now, Combs has long denied any involvement with Tupac's. He's never been charged. Our question this morning, how believable is Keefe D's Diddy accusation?
The struggle between Diddy and Keefe D is more than just a legal battle. It's a battle for survival. On one side, you have Diddy, a man who has built an empire on the backs of others, who has used his power and influence to manipulate and control. On the other side, you have Keefe D, a man who has nothing left to lose, a man who could bring it all crashing down with a single word. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the outcome is far from certain.
And that he is currently under fire, I think it now leads some credence to what people have been saying for years about Sean Diddy Combs and how he moves and how he operates. But whether it's true or not, we need more evidence, more people to confirm, and more facts that tie in from an investigative standpoint that these allegations and accusations could be accurate.
But one thing is clear. Diddy's time is running out. The past has a way of catching up with even the most powerful, and for Diddy, that past is knocking on the door. The world is watching, waiting to see if justice will finally be served. Will Diddy manage to escape the consequences of his actions? Or will he finally be held accountable for the crimes he's been accused of? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure. The days of Diddy being untouchable are over.
Well, I'd certainly view everything he's saying with a lot of suspicion, right? I mean, he was in an interrogation in 2009 and offered this information up. And if he's truly involved in the of Tupac, he's looking to throw anything out there, to throw mirrors out there to deflect the accusations against.
As the story continues to unfold, the parallels between Diddy's situation and the downfall of other powerful men like Jeffrey Epstein and R. Kelly become even more apparent. Both Epstein and R. Kelly were men who lived lavishly, who wielded their power with impunity, and who believed they were above the law. But in the end, their crimes caught up with them, and they fell from grace in spectacular fashion. Could Diddy be next? Could the man who once ruled the music industry find himself behind bars for the rest of his life?
And that's ultimately how these accusations have to be viewed right now, because we've had, almost 15 years, and the police have not connected Diddy to these accusations. There may be some truth to them, there may not, but right now, there obviously hasn't been enough for the police to make an arrest.
The legal experts seem to think so. The evidence is mounting, the witnesses are coming forward, and the public is demanding justice. The comparison to Epstein and R. Kelly
named Diddy 77 times in court documents related to Tupac's.
Right now, Davis is fighting for bail ahead of his trial, which he has pleaded not guilty for.
In the world of hip-hop, where legends are born and rivalries are forged in the crucible of fame and power, few stories have captivated the public's imagination like the unsolved mysteries surrounding the demises of Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. But now, decades after those tragic events, the spotlight is once again shining on one of the most influential figures of that era, Sean Diddy Combs. The whispers are growing louder, the allegations are piling up, and the man who once seemed untouchable is facing a reckoning that could change everything.
3 law firms on retainer. I don't know how much money is coming in, but I know that a lot of money is going out every single month for Diddy.
Imagine this. Diddy, the mogul who shaped the sound of a generation, now lives in fear. According to former bodyguard Gene Deal, the pressure is mounting, and Diddy knows that if Keefe D, the last living suspect in Tupac's assassination, decides to flip, his world could come crashing down. Deal has been vocal about the intense struggle happening behind the scenes. A battle that's not just fought in courtrooms, but in the dark corners of prisons and secret backrooms. The stakes are high, and the players are desperate.
They got to come up with some kind of evidence, and they got to have Keefe D say and point to some kind of evidence, which I don't think he could, that Diddy put out the hit on Tupac. Yeah, they gonna press him.
Gene Deal, who once stood by Diddy's side, is now spilling the tea, and it's piping hot. Deal paints a picture of a man who is terrified, a man who knows that the walls are closing in. Keefe D, who has publicly admitted to his role in the events leading up to Shakur's demise, is the key to this entire situation, and according to Deal, the authorities know it too. The police are reportedly putting immense pressure on Keefe D, allegedly resorting to brutal tactics to get him to talk.
They pressing him so bad, and I don't know how I should say this, that a week or two ago, they beat him up in jail. The cops.
But on the flip side, Diddy is supposedly doing everything in his power to keep Keefe D silent. Rumors suggest that Diddy is orchestrating clandestine visits and using intermediaries to promise Keefe D enormous sums of money. Money that could buy his silence and, in turn, Diddy's freedom.
Said that Diddy came to the jail and said that, hey, I'll give you $2.3 million or something like that, or 23. I don't know if it's 2.3 or $23 million to make this go away. We'll leave this alone the whole 9 yards. Just like I just said, he's trying to pay people off to make things go away, for them to drop their suits and everything like that.
Now, who is Keefe D, and why is his name so crucial in this unfolding drama? Doing Keefe D Davis isn't just some random name pulled out of thin air. He's a former Southside Compton Crip, a man who's been tied to the streets and the violent world of gang rivalries for decades. His connection to the assassination of Shakur is more than just a fleeting mention. It's deeply embedded in the lore of the East Coast-West Coast feud that defined an era. Keefe D himself has openly claimed that he was in the car when Shakur was shot, and more shockingly, he has implicated Diddy in the plot. According to Keefe D, it was Diddy who ordered the hit on Shakur, a claim that, if proven true, could bring down one of the biggest figures in the music industry.
Diddy brought him a drink over, and then Diddy told him, I put a little something extra in there.
To understand why Diddy is in such deep trouble now, we need to rewind the clock and revisit the turbulent 1990s, a time when the East Coast-West Coast feud was at its peak. This was not just a beef between artists. It was a full-blown war that had real, deadly consequences. Diddy, then known as Puff Daddy, was at the heart of the East Coast scene, representing Bad Boy Records. On the opposite coast, you had Suge Knight and his Death Row Records with Shakur as their crown jewel. The rivalry was more than just about music. An influence be enough this time? The public sentiment is changing, and the tolerance for celebrity misdeeds is at an all-time low. Every new revelation, every new accusation, the pressure builds. Diddy's team can argue his innocence all they want, but the court of public opinion had already begun its deliberations. The narrative is shifting, and it's not in his favor. Looking forward, one can't help but wonder what the future holds for the once untouchable mogul. Could we be witnessing the final act in a decades-long saga of power, corruption, and crime? Or will Diddy somehow manage to escape yet again, using his influence and resources to sidestep justice? One thing is certain, the story is far from over, and the next chapter is sure to be just as explosive as the last.
Because for each charge is usually one victim or survivor attached to that charge. So if the U.S. Attorney's Office is able to pull together 15 survivors, right, and they're willing to come forward and testify, you may see 15 counts.
In the coming days, all eyes will be on Keefe D and Diddy. Keefe D's potential testimony could be the turning point in this case, a bombshell revelation that could either confirm the suspicions of many or further complicate the narrative. Meanwhile, Diddy will likely continue to fight tooth and nail to maintain his freedom and protect his legacy. But as more details emerge, as more people come forward, and as the weight of evidence grows heavier, Diddy's path to redemption becomes narrower. In the end, this saga is about more than just Diddy or Keefe D. It's about the legacy of Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G., two icons whose lives were cut tragically short. It's about justice for them, for their families, and for the countless fans who have waited decades for answers. It's about holding powerful men accountable, no matter how long it takes or how far we have to dig to find the truth.
Is there any possibility that he walks away clean from this, that everything is dropped and he faces no charges or any prison time?
Not impossible. I mean, anything is possible, but I don't see that happening. I see him kind of going the path of R. Kelly, where again, for so many decades, he was able to act with impunity and just, with harming so many, young women.
As the legal battles unfold and the investigation continues, we are left with more questions than answers. Will Diddy finally face the music for his alleged crimes, or will he continue to evade justice as he has for so many years? Will Keefe D flip and tell all, or will he hold on to his secrets until the end? And most importantly, will we ever truly know what happened on that fateful night in Las Vegas when Shakur was gunned down? Fans are buzzing with opinions about the unfolding drama between Diddy, Keefe D, and the lingering mysteries surrounding Shakur's assassination. One fan commented, Keefe told on himself long before the feds came and got him. He was arrogant about it because he thought he had immunity. No one forced him to admit something he didn't do. He voluntarily told us every chance he got on YouTube. This comment highlights a key point in the ongoing saga. Keefe D has never been shy about his involvement in the events leading up to Shakur's demise. His numerous public admissions and confessions on platforms like YouTube suggest a man who believed he was untouchable, a man who thought his past actions were protected under the cloak of immunity. Another fan weighed in with a different perspective, stating, if the cops beat Keefe up, it wasn't for puff. Keefe would sing without being roughed up. This comment brings a new layer to the discussion, suggesting that if any physical coercion was used, it likely wasn't to protect Diddy. This fan believes that Keefe D, with all his bravado and his well-documented admissions, would likely spill his secrets without much prompting. The implication here is that the authorities may have other motivations for applying pressure on Keefe D.I., perhaps to tie up loose ends in a case that has remained unsolved for too long. So, what do you think? Is Keefe D truly on the verge of flipping, or will he hold on to his secrets to the very end? And if Diddy is guilty, will he finally face the consequences of his actions, or will he manage to slip away once again? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let us know where you stand in this high-stakes drama. Until next time, stay tuned, keep digging, and remember, there's always more to the story. It was about power, control, and the streets.
When the whole East-West thing started, we were caught off guard, and that broke my man's heart.
Diddy wasn't just a bystander in this feud. He was one of the key orchestrators. Behind the scenes, Diddy and Suge Knight were playing a dangerous game, each trying to outmaneuver the other. The feud between these two powerhouses wasn't just about who had the better music or the more talented artists. It was about who could dominate the narrative and, ultimately, the industry. And in this deadly game, lives were lost. The demises of Shakur and Biggie remain two of the most shocking and tragic moments in music history. Shakur was gunned down in Las Vegas in September 1996, and just 6 months later, Biggie was taken out in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles. The circumstances surrounding both assassinations have been the subject of countless theories, documentaries, and investigations, but one thing remains clear. Diddy was right in the middle of it all. Despite his repeated denials and attempts to distance himself from the violence, the reality is that Diddy was deeply involved in the shady dealings of that time. He profited from the chaos, building his empire while others around him fell.
Whatever I want, I get! Whatever I want, I get!
The East Coast, West Coast feud wasn't just a media creation. It was a real conflict that had real consequences, and Diddy, with his business acumen and street smarts, knew exactly how to exploit it. He played the game better than anyone else, turning the feud into a money-making machine. While Suge Knight and others around him eventually fell, Diddy remained standing, continuing to build his brand and his fortune. But now, with the reopening of the Shakur case and the spotlight once again shining on his role in those events, Diddy's past is catching up with him.
Tupac Shakur is a music legend, and for a long time, this community and worldwide have been wanting justice for Tupac. Today, we are taking that first step.
Fast forward to today, and Diddy is facing a series of accusations that could very well be his undoing. The allegations range from his involvement in Shakur's assassination to a series of shocking claims related to human trafficking and abuse. Legal experts are weighing in, and many believe that Diddy could be looking at life behind bars. Even without the Shakur case, the sheer volume and severity of the accusations against him are enough to bring him down.
Keefe D, if he was told to say that, and he comes out and say that, he was told to say that and bring Puff name in there, it that whole case.
The comparison to notorious figures like Jeffrey Epstein and R. Kelly isn't just sensationalism. It's a very real possibility. Legal experts, such as Nima Rahmani, have warned that Diddy's situation could play out similarly to those high-profile cases, with multiple victims coming forward across various jurisdictions. If the prosecutors are successful in proving the charges against him, Diddy could spend the rest of his life in prison. But let's not forget the other allegations swirling around Diddy, allegations that paint a picture of a man who has used his power and influence to exploit and abuse others. The recent raids on his properties in Los Angeles and Miami by Homeland Security are just the tip of the iceberg. These raids were reportedly connected to a federal human trafficking investigation, and the details that have emerged are chilling. According to sources, Diddy is being accused of spiking drinks and assaulting both women and men, and the list of alleged victims is growing. One of the most damning pieces of evidence against Diddy is a videotape released by CNN showing him brutally assaulting singer Cassie Ventura. This tape, according to Gene Deal, was released for a reason. It was meant to show the world that Diddy is capable of horrific violence, and it served to undermine any support he might have had from those who believed in his innocence. But this tape is just one piece of the puzzle.